Hi everybody, Sydney Rock here again to talk about negotiations. Actually, today's video isn't specifically about negotiations. This is true no matter what the conversation you're having. I'd like to get into body language. And the cool thing about being able to analyze body language is that you can get an idea as to what a person is really thinking when you're in conversation with them. Actually, that's not always true, and today I want to give you the 3 rules to being able to accurately detect and interpret someone's body language. And also, I'm going to give you the secret to being able to take this and really become good at detecting and making accurate reads on people. So the first step would be to read up on body language, obviously. Get an idea of what all the different gestures mean and what they generally mean depending on different contexts. And for that, my personal reference, this is almost my Bible for me. It's the definitive book on body language by Allan and Pease. I don't know if the E at the end of their last name is pronounced or not. It's P-A-S-A-E, but it's a great book. And this is actually the book where I got these rules from that I'm going to share with you. I think that any half-decent book on body language is going to have these rules. But the first rule is to read gestures in clusters, because gestures are like words. And when you want to have an idea of what a word means, you have to look at the actual sentence to be able to make it fit together with other words so that you can have an idea of what's really being expressed. So the other rule is to look for incongruence. So basically, when you're telling a story with your body, either everything that you're doing supports your story, or there's going to be one thing that tells another story. And when you find something that's incongruent, the incongruent part is usually the part that you can that you should pay more attention to get an idea of what's really going on. That's part of the reason why sidelong glances are so revealing as to what's really on a person's mind. I mean, like their entire body is set up like this, and like you're acting all nonchalantly, and then the eyes. And then the eyes are like this. You know, like the eyes looking here tell a different story than my entire body that's facing this way and interested in what's going on there. So that's one simple common example that happens. And the last rule in being able to make accurate reads is to read gestures in context. Like a gesture cluster is like a sentence, and the context is like the whole paragraph, the whole page. Like, for instance, a general rule is that closed arms usually means you're shut off, and open arms means you're open. But if, let's say, you're holding a book like this, then the folded arms don't really mean anything. They can be ignored. Just like, for instance, I know that hair touching is usually a significant. Hair touching is usually a gesture that's mentioned for what women do when they're interested in a man. But when you actually go out and do this in the real world, you'll find that women touch their hair all the time. It's really difficult to isolate that particular gesture and make a read on a woman based solely on that. I wouldn't recommend that. And actually, I think that face scratching usually has that same phenomenon that happens where usually face scratching. Actually, you know what? Forget face scratching. I'm gonna make an entire video on face scratching at some point because I think there are a lot of things to say on that. But the whole point of what I'm trying to say is that you want to read gestures in context. So let's say, going back to my hair touching example, a woman is like this and her hair is all like that, and then you grab her attention and then she does this. Like the hair touching doesn't mean anything. I mean, her hair was in her face. She's just gonna do this to be able to see whatever it was that grabbed her attention. Now, as a final gift, I'd like to share the real secret that I used over time to become, I think, really good at detecting and interpreting body language, is to really become, I'd say obsessed, develop a magnificent obsession for interpreting your own body language. Because unlike when other people are doing things with their bodies, the best you can do is make a guess as to what's going on in their minds. But when you have a decent amount of self-knowledge and self-awareness, if you can detect what you're doing with your body and actually become curious as to what you were thinking when you were doing this with your body, you'll see that there are often a lot of links there. I notice that I often do scratch my face when I don't believe what someone's saying. But there's more to it than that, and that's why I didn't really want to go too much into face scratching. But I think face scratching is important, especially when you're involved in a sales conversation. That's probably the gesture that I see most often, and I'm probably going to make an entire video on that in the future. But these kinds of things, when you actually have access to what's going on in your own mind, when you become aware of what you're doing with your body and you cross-reference that with what you were thinking, you'll actually be able to see a lot of links, and you'll be able to see how a lot of the things that are in these body language books make a lot of sense, actually. But you'll become that much better at determining what the context is, like what was going on 2 minutes ago, what was going on 5 minutes ago that might actually lead to this gesture cluster that I see right now. So if you take the 3 rules, read gestures in clusters, look for incongruence, and read gestures in context, and you practice that on your own body and see what's going on when you do things, over time, there's no silver bullet to become really good at interpreting body language tomorrow if you haven't been doing this for a while. But you'll see that over time, you'll get a much more, you'll be much more skilled at interpreting people's body language, and being able to make accurate reads on people goes a long way to bringing any conversation to a fruitful end. Because whether we're negotiating or not, whether it's in sales or not, people often have incentive to hide what's really going on in their minds from the people that they're talking to for all sorts of reasons. And being able to make accurate reads on people as you're talking to them can play a key role in cutting through all that bullshit and getting to the truth. And, you know, the truth is what sets us free, after all. So thanks again for watching this video. If you want to know more, there's some links at the bottom of the video. And again, there's one where you can add your email to my mailing list and get some nice goodies. And thank you very much again for those that are already signed up. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks a lot. Sydney Rock signing out again.